Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another review, and today I'm taking a look at the figurized standard WARGREYMON, and of course this is from Digimon. As usual, this video right here would not have been possible without those awesome people over at Hobby Link Japan, so if you want some model kits of your own, I'll throw a link to this down there in the description. Anyway, let's check it out. So that right there is what WARGREYMON looks like out of the box, straight built as it comes inside of the box. Now, first off, I will wind back a little bit to the build on this, and I will mention, for the most part, the figurized amplified Digimon kits I've taken a look at before have been absolutely mind-blowing. I expected this to be of the same caliber, but this is one ridiculously simple kit, the likes of which I haven't seen in some time. So I will mention, this is not the greatest kit around by any margin. First off, the build is extremely simple, and sometimes that's a good thing, but in this situation, it just means that like every element of this particular kit, for example, like the upper leg or the arms or the feet, stuff like that, they're mainly just made out of 2 or 3 pieces only. We've got little joints holding them all together, and the color separation for the most part is quite good. It's probably the best aspect about it, but the limitation of parts does mean that this has some extremely limited articulation, and it does look a little bit awkward pretty much most of the time. There are some stickers in here as well. The only ones I did use are from the eyes, but we do have a couple of color correcting ones I'll talk about in the aesthetics, which we might as well do right now. So once again, this is what WARGREYMON will look like out of the box, just snapped together, and the only stickers I've thrown onto it is the eyes. So aesthetically, this is quite good. It does have a couple of model kit related issues that you may want to fix yourself or you may be okay with, but overall, considering the way that WARGREYMON looked like in the first ever series of Digimon, this is pretty much hitting the nail on the head. All the detail is here. We do have the nice metallic parts, all the main colors. This is separated into multiple colors. So we've got the orange, silver, red, black, and that pale yellow. The silver on here is that metallic injection style silver, which can look a little bit cheap. This really does depend on your own particular taste in overall looks, but of course, this is a model kit. You can paint it whatever color that you want. Now, the only real issue I do have with this finished kit right here is it's definitely as simple as a model kit can be. I feel like the first time in a long time, it kind of seems like Bandai has cut some corners. Well, the main one being in the way that it assembles. Everything has a massive killer seam line, and the articulation here isn't really that great. Anyway, let's zoom on in to take a look. So first off, when it comes to the accuracy of WARGREYMON right here, it is pretty good. The only real issues we have are some of the, well, more complex colors that would have been on WARGREYMON. So first off, all of those white ones there for the most part, they would make up the various elements of the detail around back here. So you just stick them onto the shield around here, and you'll get all of that white detail, what is basically all molded into it there. But because it is molded into it, that does mean this would be pretty simple to actually paint up and detail up properly, and even give it a little bit of an outline. Those white ones right there that make up number 6 and 7, they would be for adding the color onto the claw that you can see in there, the actual kind of fleshy hands, if you could even call it that, for a Digimon. But yeah, this is one of my favorite aspects about this kit. That hand in there holding onto the outer gauntlet just looks really cool. It is a little bit of a shame that we do have hollow parts right here in the claw. The same would go for underneath in these claws too. That is definitely some corners cut on Bandai's part. Next up, we have the stickers that are 3 and 4 here. These are in gray. Those would have been for adding the color to the rings on the top of the horns there. Once again, another simple thing to actually just detail up yourself. Finally, then, we do have the red stickers for number 6 right here. Those would have been for that little bit of a section in the middle of those spikes on the shoulders. Those should be in red, but they're just not color separated in this kit. You just stick on the stickers or paint it yourself. But besides that though, the overall detail on here is absolutely phenomenal, especially on the red segments on the chest. The shoulders, we have those around on the back of the legs too, extremely nicely detailed. The only thing that really does kill me about this is the fact that Bandai has split absolutely every element of this into 2. So you've got a seam line there. The seam line is also running across the feet, which isn't the worst really. The ones in the arms actually affect this kit's stability. You overbend this and those can kind of get a little bit widened like so, but the one that is the absolute worst is the one right down the center of the head. Now, I might be able to squeeze that together a little bit better, but I've been having absolutely no luck. That could have been one part on from the top, but Bandai have definitely made this as absolutely simple as possible. So from a distance, pretty good. Up close, it does have some little issues, and If your goal is just to pop this on your shelf to look good, then it will do that. But if you want to pose this thing up, not so much. Let's check out the articulation. So now jumping on to the articulation, you might be asking, well, what happened to the accessories part of the review? Well, this thing doesn't actually come with anything in the box, it's just this. That is all. The only other thing is a sheet of stickers, and that's the end of the story. If you're also wondering about the size comparison, I can't actually do that now because I've packed away every single Gundam that I own. That is why all these shelves you can see there, all empty, empty, empty. Absolutely, there's something up there. I think that's a 1/35th scale GPO1, I think, and a end of a Lego thing. But those aren't good for size comparisons, so if you want to know exactly how tall this is, well, here's a Necromunda measuring majigger. It is 6 inches tall, or 15 centimeters. So thrown into the usual pose I do to test all of the articulation all at once, and this is probably the least amount of articulation I've seen in a model kit in a long time, if ever. So there is no articulation at the ab crunch whatsoever. Zero. Nothing in the actual torso bends. When it comes to the knee, that is it. I'm not shitting you. That is all it can do. And when it comes to the neck, that doesn't really move too much either. And the upper arm, although you can get it into position like what you can see right here, and the shoulder is quite decent, you're limited a lot with what you can actually do with the angle the hand holds onto the gauntlets, which I'll show you now in a second. But yeah, on the whole, this thing is ridiculously limited. This is crazy. So yeah, the neck right here has a little bit of movement down here, but that is it. It doesn't actually move up top, just down where the neck attaches, and it's held on quite feebly. Now, for the most part, the shoulder here and the upper arm isn't really all that bad. This actually gets you a decent range of movement. But what is kind of strange is we only have rotation in the upper arm right here. So if you actually wanted to turn the arm into the body but still have the claw facing forward, you cannot do that. So the only real bend is while the arm is pointing forward, and only to about the 90-degree mark. So it can do some upward slashes, but never really get anything inward per se. I guess it's not too bad. It just would have been really nice to have some articulation right here so you could actually turn the arm and gauntlet in while having the elbow pointing forward. That would have been nice. But yeah, there is no ab crunch. There's a little bit of rock just above the waist where there would be a ball joint, and the knee bend right here is extremely limited. And like I mentioned earlier on, when you do bend the elbow, it kind of starts to strain the actual attachment of the parts here. Look at that seam line start to bend out. This is a really wonky design right here. You're actually able to open these out and close it up, but hey, it's not really a whole lot. Let's see what it can do. Can WARGREYMON crouch? Just about. Actually, that isn't the worst. It's not the most natural looking thing, but it does work. There's its front kicks. Wham, wham. That's about it. Out to the outside. I guess it's not too bad. Some aspects are good, some aspects could be a little bit better. Will you get dynamic poses out of it? Definitely not, but you'll get a couple, but nothing fantastic and nothing too natural looking. So anyway, that right there is it for the review, and what can I say, this is a very basic model kit. It's not as nice as we would have seen with the WARGREYMON Amplified, so if you want a really good, fairly decent over-the-top model kit that will get you some good poses, I would say go for the Amplified over this. But if you do want something that looks like it stepped right on out of the original Digimon series, this will do that for you, but it won't be pulling off any over-the-top poses. You will have to paint up some details or use the stickers, but on the whole, it does look extremely nice. So if you just want to pop it in a standing pose up on your shelf with the rest of your Digimon collection, this will do that and do it perfectly. It just won't be doing any cool poses. Now, before I actually end the video, I will ask you, which of these do you want to see next while I try to empty out the backlog? First off is this right here. This is the 1/72nd scale Siegfried from Macross Delta. This is by Bandai, and it's essentially a master grade Macross kit. The premium Bandai Zeon Gundam, another Digimon kit, which is this right here, the Alphamon, the Furai model Windblade by Flame Toys, or a re-review of the high-grade Atlas Gundam, which is hard to see now because of all the lights behind everything. Let me know, there's not many days left to me actually being able to kick through this backlog, so let me know which you'd like to see next out of that bunch. Anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to come back for more plastic model kit reviews, and I'll see you next time. As always, this video and every video would not be possible without each and every one of you guys who watches my videos. And special thanks to those of you who are supporting me over on Patreon and on the channel members. including Caleb Engelhart, Global Frequency Studios, Go Little Rockstar, Gunpla UK Limited, Joe, Kill Me Inc., Lawrence Seahack, RG59061, and Van Fawn.